We now move forward to another very interesting fireside chat, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me when I say this, this is going to be insightful, exciting, enticing, if that's the word that I can use, and definitely engaging in the true sense of the term, because we have with us somebody right now who actually calls a spade a spade. He's known for his great body of work, and if I may say so, he's an inspiration for a lot of anchors and VJs like us, because he has actually been the OG VJ in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, you all have figured it out right, I'm pretty sure by now. Please give it up for the one and only Ranvir Shorey over here in the house. Give it up for him, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us over here. Always a pleasure to have you. And we have a fireside chat, and fortunate enough that I will be doing this fireside chat with him. So thank you so much, sir, first of all, for joining us. And give him a bigger round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. He deserves all of it for all the entertainment that he has provided to all of you over here over the years, be it his movies, reality shows, hosting, everything. Like I said, the OG VJ in the country and an inspiration for a lot of anchors over here. Sir, and he was very kind enough to do a podcast with me as well very recently for my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for that as well, sir. I want to understand, of course, we have the topic right now, which is evolution of an actor in changing times. This is the topic that we have right now for the Fireside Chat. But before I come to that, of course, everybody right now, there has been a lot of buzz about Bigg Boss, this, that, etc. Wanted to understand, sir, how has that entire, if you had to kind of sum it up in a line or two for our audience over here, your entire journey in Bigg Boss, and, after you came out of the house, did you get an opportunity to see some of the episodes?
Subhojit, first, thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much, IWMBuzz, for inviting me here on this platform. It's my honor and privilege to be here with all of you today in this esteemed company. Yes, Bigg Boss has been a very big turning point in my life. Positive or negative, I'm still finding out. And to sum up my experience in a line or two, I would say when I was younger, my mother used to teach me, look before you leap, think before you speak. So before leaping into a project, I think you should think twice. But having said that, it's been a huge, huge learning experience for me. And the learnings are something which I am still continuing and coming to terms with.
Fantastic. And when we talked about Bigg Boss, we also have to talk about the project that came out right after that. That was Shemaroo Me, ladies and gentlemen, on Jio Cinema. I am seeing a lot of heads nodding over here because you all have seen it as well. And Shemaroo Me was actually fantastic and brilliant. And when you got a cast like people like Ranvir sir, KK Menon, and all these people coming together, there's cinematic brilliance awaiting you, right? So I think Shemaroo Me was also quite an interesting journey, and very different, very offbeat from perhaps the kind of exposure that you had in a Bigg Boss, right? And one after the other, both of them are pretty much contrast to each other. What do you have to say about the love and appreciation that you've been receiving for Shemaroo Me?
Yes, thank you for bringing up something else in my life other than Bigg Boss. But that is the world actually I belong to. That is the world I aspire to be a part of, which is the world of storytelling, filmmaking. And for me, because filmmaking has always been such an attraction since a young age, because it involves such different art forms, from the painting and the craftsmanship of the set designers, to acting, to photography, and so on. So it's such a culmination of so many arts. And that has been the primary attraction for me all my life, and that's why I have submitted my life to this world. And Shemaroo Me was you can say like a saving beacon for me coming out of Bigg Boss, because I went into Bigg Boss because I had no shoots committed at the time. And more than that, a lot of stuff that I had shot for, including Shemaroo Me, was not getting scheduled for release. So I was feeling, how do I put it, sorry to use the word, this might get misquoted a lot, but it was a sense of frustration, that I'm not able to get out there to the audience with my work. And but the way destiny works, as soon as I went into Big Boss, Shekhar Home, which was one of the biggies that was waiting for release, got scheduled for release. I still have a couple of very good series and a couple of very good small films which are waiting for release, and I'm just praying that this streak continues and that these come out and I get bigger, better opportunities.
And I think it's very rightly said when you use the word frustration, and I'll tell you why it won't be misquoted, because one kind of frustration is when you're not having work, and another kind of frustration is when you're shooting for a lot of work, but then due to unforeseen circumstances, they're not coming out. So I think that's a right word to use at that point of time. So all of you who have enjoyed Shekhar Home, I'm pretty sure you had a great experience. Those who have not, it's available on Jio Cinema, so please do that. And this is not an endorsement from Jio Cinema, but definitely because I love the show myself, and also I've loved him over the years. If I have to talk about the topic right now, if I have to talk about the conversation that we are going to be, kind of diving deep into right now, this is about evolution of an actor in changing times, right? Now, sir, you come at a time, I would say you came at a time in the industry when I think in terms of entertainment medium, you had a little bit of reality shows around, and there was, of course, the TV daily soaps that were there, and there were films, right? There was nothing like OTT, there was nothing like, even I don't think the concept of short films was popular. It was there, but it wasn't popularized the way it has been right now, right? So, right from the time when you started your career to now, I think it's safe to say that there's been a 360-degree evolution of the entire entertainment ecosystem, right? Now, change, as we all know, ladies and gentlemen, is the only constant in life, and you got to adapt to changing times, but not everybody is very, I would say, able to do that. I mean, some are usually resistant to change. So, I will club two questions over here. One is that, how have you yourself kind of adapted to that change? And what would be your message to those actors or performing artists who want to change and who want to adapt to changing times but are finding it a little difficult because they're resistant to change?
Yeah, so you're right. I start my entire career, if you include behind the camera as where what I started with, is a good 30 years. So when I started my career, we used to hear about things that we are seeing today, which is democratization of media and entertainment. That a time will come when everyone will be a filmmaker, everyone will be a journalist, everyone will be an actor, everyone will be a musician. So when I started my career, these were just, how do I put it? These were predictions for the future. That's where media and entertainment are headed. So at that time also, and that time I had no interest in acting, but filmmaking of course was. So that's why I had enrolled for a diploma at St. Xavier's Institute of Communication in film and TV, which is basically what facilitated my entry, my career into television, where I started behind the camera. And then we saw the advent of the internet and mobile devices and such. Then when I started acting, which was when I started taking acting seriously, which is roughly 10 years after that, I went and did another course at Digital Film Academy in New York, which was for digital film. So that's when I got educated in the area of the, how shall I put it, the one-man filmmaker. Because that diploma itself was geared towards how, and by then, like you said, internet had come into the picture, how you can singularly conceive, create, produce, post-produce, distribute, market, and monetize, just as a single person using the internet. And today now, which is another flash forward, another 10 years, when I was in Big Boss, I spent a lot of time with our digital stars of the moment, the YouTube, Instagram, and they're big names and very successful in those fields. And I actually saw it realized. I was like, yes, this is what I had studied 10 years back and what ideas I had heard of 20 years back. So what we see today is complete democratization of the medium, the audio-visual medium. I once had a very profound thought which I had shared, which I'll please bear with me. I'll share here again, which I think is that the audio-visual medium is the new writing. I think that's the kind of impact it's having on the human evolution, on the human psyche. Even from simple thing like keeping a record. Now we can keep a video record of some idea that we have instead of writing it down. Communication. If I want to send a message to you, I don't have to text it. I can send you a video message. Entertainment, of course. And so on. So I feel we live at a time where audio-visual medium has been democratized to a great extent, and therefore an actor has to adapt to this time now, and this includes. Like you said, I mean, you were saying short films. Now the idea of a short film is 30 seconds or 1.5 minutes. And reels and the likes, the shorts, YouTube shorts, all these are that. In 90 minutes, you have, you have to engage, entertain, reward. So I think the evolution of an actor has to be keeping this direction in mind.
You mentioned it very correctly. I would want to know something from your end. Right immediately after I believe you came out of Bigg Boss, we were talking about adapting to changes, right? He himself has been a front runner, and I'll tell you why. Because the moment he came out of the Bigg Boss house, he started his own YouTube channel, and that is kind of growing immensely. He's putting all those interesting vlogs, which a lot of people are loving it, right from the promotion vlogs to everything. Couple of them I saw as well. What has your understanding been of that digital world of YouTube so far? How are you enjoying it, and what perhaps is different to the cinematic world that you have always engaged with?
Oh, the formats are very different. On one hand, I have been part of films, feature-length films, which are about hour and a half and above. On the other hand, I've been part of long-format series, which is a story told over 6 to 10 parts. This medium now I'm realizing is, I'm only getting started, so please forgive me if I'm kind of poking around in the dark here, is completely new. I mean, you have choices like you have a 1.5 minute, how a 1.5 minute piece would work, how a 8 to 10 minute piece would work. These are of course average timings I'm saying. So, like when you write a screenplay for a film, you have the 3-act structure, for example. And when you write a series, how that changes is you have the 3-act structure. This is just an example. I'm not in any way trying to drum up the 3-act structure, but I'm just saying, for example. So when we do a series, we have a 3-act structure in that as well, but in sense of the entire series, but as well as each episode. So the writing and the conceiving changes according to these different formats, and that's exactly what I intend to use when I am now taking to exploring YouTube and the social media audio-visual mediums. Instead of just writing jokes and posting pictures, I have taken to video. And I'll tell you honestly, what attracted me to it most, apart from, of course, the lecture that Arman gave me in Bigg Boss, which everybody knows about, was also that at least, even if it's bad and not up to standard, at least I'll be shooting and editing, which is my first love, right? Instead of, for 4 hours a day, doom scrolling and fighting with trolls on X, at least I'm using that time doing what I love doing, which is shooting and editing. Yeah, so this is where I'm at right now.
And we are loving that as well. We spoke about challenges, of course. When it comes to adapting to any sort of change, it's always challenging. Very few people find it easy, and I think I would say that more than 80 to 85% usually find it difficult. And they are the late adopters in that phase. But as far as adapting to change is concerned, अगर मैं आपको पूछूं कि what has been your biggest challenge over the years in terms of keeping up to the times, because I believe in the entertainment industry particularly, every 3 to 5 years onwards there is some kind of shift in paradigm, right? So how have you kept yourself relevant over the years and kind of adapted to those changes, and what have been your most significant challenges for them?
Honestly, I think the most significant challenge for me has been my own laziness. My own comfort zone. Then this is something which I think I'm not alone. I think everybody falls into this. The people who don't fall into this are the achievers, including in this room today. As soon as you have something good going, the tendency to say, okay, now I can, let me rest and let me just enjoy this and sink into this. But like you said, life is not like that, and especially media and entertainment is not like that. If you're not, it's like a treadmill, and if you're not moving, you'll get thrown out. And this is something which also, luckily for me, because I started with television, my initial training was on the treadmill. Because I remember at one time when I was still working behind the camera, I was directing a 15-minute entertainment capsule daily. Where on Sundays I remember going to the NFDC office and dropping the beta master also myself, because the Sunday the peon wanted an off, but the director didn't have any off. He had 7 days a week of work. So greatest challenge has been my own laziness, and the other, I think what people should know is that, stagnant water, you get infections and different stuff, but moving water by and large stays clean. So you got to flow with the change or, rot.
I think very nicely put up. One thing, sir, which I have observed, and I'm pretty sure everybody over here in this room will agree to this fact, that the size of entertainment has reduced. And when I say size, I talk about the screen size, right? We had those big TVs earlier. Now you're not, I would say, entirely dependent on that. You can pretty much binge an entire series of 8 episodes, 10 episodes, right on your mobile throughout the night, and then perhaps go to your office the very next day, being sleepless and then feeling tired. But then that is how the thing is. But somebody who's like a great entrepreneur, he says that I think all these food delivery apps and the OTT platforms, they are like your best friends, and at the same time, your biggest enemies as well, in a funny way, because they keep you awake and you kind of tend to binge on food and content throughout the night. But that's how the thing is. That's where a lot of personal discipline comes into play as well, and how you plan your schedule. But I wanted to understand, sir, that the accessibility has kind of increased manifolds right now. Anybody with a camera or a phone camera right now can be a paparazzi, for example, right? I want to understand, in these times when you go out there and you can have just 50 mobile phones around you, how does a public figure stay raw and organic and genuine, while simultaneously not being vulnerable to those situations? Because the byproduct of that, right, which is a lot of trolling. कुछ आप action करते हो, उसका कुछ शायद और significance होता है, but then internet पे उसको कुछ और समझा जाता है, and trollers कुछ और कहते हैं. So it's like a complete cycle altogether, right? So how does a public figure who's always exposed to the cameras, they stay organic and genuine, which I truly believe you are as well, without giving their vulnerability, and perhaps doing something in a way जिससे minimum trolling हो, because trolling तो होना ही है.
First of all, I'm very happy to hear that even economics is moving towards the convergence of food and cinema, because that's the one thing that makes me happy, which is food and cinema at the same time. So now, second thing you said about um, about being in front of cameras all the time. I think being in front of the camera yes, there is a privacy angle, of course. There is a limit to what I'm saying. But having said that, I think if your endeavor in life is to be a better human being, which I think should be for everyone, is good enough to risk being in front of the cameras. Yeah, I mean, like for example, when I was in the Big Boss house, after the first week, because for me the logic simply was, if there are cameras everywhere, then what's the point of worrying about the cameras? It's about how you are behaving. So, and I'll say the same thing for public life, which is that if you are trying to be a better human being, then each of these things becomes a way for you to improve yourself. You know, and that's really good for you, as well as as maybe for society as well. And that's the only tip I can give you here, which is, it's one life, better spend it trying to be the best version that you can be of yourself.
Like I said, we talked about changes and we talked about evolution. Of course, we have had many changes over the years, because if we are talking about your career in particular, 1998 was it, or like 30? No, like right in front of the camera. That was
97, 98 when I
97, 98,
when I
right? So
started DJing.
that, if I just talk about the acting part of it, I mean that's also a humongous time period, right? And I'm pretty sure there have been many changes over the years. But what is perhaps that one significant change that you did not expect will happen? Because changes are anyway unforeseen, but जो ऐसा कुछ change था जो आपने expect नहीं किया था कि यार ये कैसे हो गया?
I became an actor. I think that has been the biggest jhatka. And for all the wrong reasons. I mean, people come here from, come to Bombay, from Mumbai, from all over the country trying to be actors. I was born in Mumbai. I was born on the fringes of the Hindi film industry, but I didn't want to be an actor. I wanted to be a filmmaker. And बिल्कुल मैं तो actor धक्के से बना हूँ. My ex-boss and friend Shashank Ghosh, when I was working at Channel V, he's the one who almost pushed me in front of the camera, saying, you start doing the vox pops, because all this funny nonsense that you do in the office, try and do it in front of the camera. So that's how my performing career started. But I mean, how life works in mysterious ways. Although right up till school, I used to win Best Actor, Best Elocution, and Best Speaker in debates for 3 years running in my school. But I never wanted to do that. I wanted to be. I wanted to make music videos. I wanted to make films. But somewhere down the line, destiny, life hooks you back, maybe where you belong, I guess.
Absolutely. And I have one last question for you, and in the best interest of time, we also have to wrap things up. But then one thing would be, we have talked about the past, right from your journey, the beginning till now. I would want to understand, what is Ranvir Shorey looking forward as a performing artist? Of course, you mentioned that there are a couple of, I think, multiple projects coming in down the line. But then, as an artist, what are the kind of characters perhaps that he's trying to touch going forward, given the current times and the current popularity around things?
But I have never thought in terms of characters I want to play. I have thought in terms of stories I want to be part of. Yeah, I mean, my career, all through my career, I have tried to be part of very different genres, very different characters. So that continues. But only thing where I have had resistance and not maybe achieved as much as I would like to is in terms of lead roles. I never wanted to be the kind of professional who wants to do only lead roles and, the typical hero thing, that I only do lead roles. I didn't subscribe to that ever, because, my own ambitions when I started in this business were to kind of bring the Indian aesthetic or the values closer to how the world works, instead of this unicorn that we call Bollywood. And for me, that remains unfulfilled. I mean, or I would say rather, I haven't achieved as much as I would have liked in that space, meaning lead roles in the kind of films that I want to be a part of. That is where I'm hoping and praying I'll make some headway.
I think this was pretty much your departing note when we were shooting our podcast for my channel, and I think this is pretty much the departing note. Let's just put everyone over here because he's got a lot of talent to actually do justice to those lead roles, and I'll wish you good luck for that going forward, and
Thank
because
you.
I'm pretty sure we'll be having multiple conversations in the future as well.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please request you all to give it up for Ranvir Shorey, please, for the kind of
Thank you.
work that he has done over the years. I'll request you to wait, and I'll request Mr. Franklin Toscano, co-founder and CTO, IWMBuzz Media Network, to kindly join over here on stage and answer the token of appreciation for this wonderful, wonderful session. Give it up once again loudly for Ranvir Shorey, ladies and gentlemen. Can we have the token of appreciation, please, for sir? We'll do a photo over here. Thank you so much, sir. You've always been very kind and supportive, and I wish you all the best. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. Give it up once again for Ranvir Shorey, please. Thank you so much for taking out time.